fuck, where's my tits? You all got big tits. Sorry, I noticed. As I say, he was quite shy. And then, and it was kind of like the 50 Shades. So he took me down to his bedroom, and I'm like, right, okay, looking round. I've had someone else who doesn't like, who's frightened of like broccoli. I wanted to go from literally when I first met him. So that's awful. That doesn't sound good. And I remember the first time we ever had it, and it was fucking awful.
Welcome to Under the Sheets with me, Tatiana Ashbourne, and all my friends. Laugh about it. Give it to me, baby. Learn about it. Love it or hate it. Let's do it. Under the Sheets with Tatiana Ashbourne and friends. Welcome to Under the Sheets with Tatiana Ashbourne and friends, brought to you by Dirty Talk. I'm Tatiana Ashbourne, and this is Lisa, everybody.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
How are you feeling to come on the show?
Really excited. I can't believe I'm in bed with a beautiful young lady. I've never been in bed with a young lady, so this is very strange for me, but in a good way. We'll hopefully have a laugh.
Absolutely.
And I'm round penises, which I haven't seen one for quite a long time, and it's but it seems a good, fun place.
Yeah. Overwhelming or not? Is it just the right amount of penises?
Yeah, absolutely, just the right amount. Yeah, too many is like too much, but this is just enough.
And have you ever thought about being in bed with a woman?
No, absolutely not. No. Like my friends, if they wanted to, stay, but not in a sexual way. No, but okay, it's cool.
Yeah, great. And for those that don't know you and don't know who you are, who is Lisa?
That's a long story which we will go into. But at the moment, so I own a magazine called Mindjump, and you write for me as well, which is awesome. And I've got a charity called Jump Up, which is for people gone through domestic abuse and violence, and we help women and children. And I won't say the name, but a dating app as well. So I've got lots to
That's incredible.
unpack. Yeah.
So let's go back to the beginning. Tell me about your childhood and how you've ended up taking on all these amazing career paths. And your first one was matchmaking.
Yeah.
How did you? So we'll go back to the beginning. Where with your mum and dad did you live in an open household? What was school like for you?
Yeah, okay. No, I mean, back to my childhood was, how do I say it in a nice way, but it was shit, if I'm honest. I went to normal school and I struggled. So I have dyslexia, but obviously back in I wouldn't say the 1900s, but quite some time ago, sort of the 70s, 80s growing up, no one knew what it was. And you was just called thick or stupid, basically. And they wanted to put me on a special bus. And you can imagine the kind of stigma and, and I hope this doesn't offend anyone. I'm not saying this to offend anyone, but I want people to know what you was called. And so you get your thick, you're stupid, how many windows you're going to lick, div, spaz. But when like now, I could take it to be like whatevs, but when you're sort of like 12, 13, 14, I was a dorky kid. I looked like Rodney Trotter. I had long legs, really dopey, and it was really difficult for me. So I really struggled. So I think that was when my low self-esteem started. And was quite a nervous person, I suppose, growing up. So and my parents, very lovely, but they aren't I suppose my dad's always busy working, and my mum was always busy as well, so they weren't always around, so we didn't really have much communication. So if we talk, we'd probably talk through the dogs. No, absolutely. So it was quite difficult growing up. So.
And then when did you start realising exactly what it meant, like being in a relationship and having sex? Or when did you first realise, oh, hang on, I've got boobs?
Well, no, actually, I live at a school where, you'd have to go and have the showers. And I don't know if you've done it at your age, but our age, we had to have showers with everyone, all the girls.
Oh, my God.
So it was open and you'd see, everyone's boobs. And at that time, I was like a little pancake. So I was like, oh, what the fuck? Where's my tits? You've all got big tits. Sorry, I had no tits. It was horrible. And then they grew, thank God. And but then school I found really tough because there was a lot of people who I was around, and they all sort of seemed quite mature.
Yeah.
And there was girls 14, 13 having sex, and I was a late bloomer. And to be honest, I wasn't interested in it at that age.
Yeah.
And I didn't have sex for a long time. I was sort of 17, met this guy, and he really pressured me, and I didn't want it.
Yeah.
And he kept pressuring me, and that's why I sort of think this is one of the reasons I want to tell it as well, is that anyone out there who feels pressured and that, just don't. I did. I caved in after a couple of months. He said, I'm going to dump you, I'll find someone else. And so I caved in, and I remember the first time we ever had it, and it was fucking awful. It just was. Yeah. I was like, I suppose a sack of potatoes. I just lied there. I was so tense and nervous, and I was like, when we finished, I was like, what was that here? That was shit. What was I, and it was just awful. So I'd say to anyone like watching, listening, like do it with someone who you actually like love, respect, have some boundaries, and don't let someone intimidate you or, fearmonger me, because I wish I hadn't. And it was just awful. I hated every minute. And obviously it got better as you get older, but like I was open then and I accepted it, but just.
And how long were you with this guy for afterwards?
About a year, not long after, or just under really. Yeah, he just didn't make me feel. It was really like he was a few years older than me, but it was just more like I was there just for sex really, and not for who I was, or it wasn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice, so
I can.
Yeah. It was awful.
You obviously are up to so much now. What work feels most meaningful to you right now?
Oh God, that's good question. I suppose two things really. The magazine, because we just tell like really lovely stories, and I felt like with media out there's so much negativity. There's so much, for example, talking about celebrities like, the size of Kim Kardashian's arse, or, who's got cellulite. We've all got fucking cellulite, you know. And I didn't want it to be like that. I wanted it to be a positive story. So I'll just give you just one quick story in there. And this is the kind of stories we tell. So we spoke to a guy called John, and he's got Down syndrome.
Yeah.
He's the funniest guy ever. He's really sweet. And he said when he left school, there was no opportunities. No one wanted to help him. No one wanted to give him any chances. And he loved drawing, and he started drawing socks. And anyway, long story short, he said to his dad, can you help me? Like, I want to create my own company, and I want to sell socks. And his dad's like, well, okay, and they started it. And now, today, they're the biggest sock distributor in the world. No. And I think stories like that are so incredible. And it just gives whoever's reading it, they might have someone who's got a disability, or perhaps a cousin or a friend. And you read that and it just gives you hope and inspiration that, you can overcome anything. Or, like me with dyslexic, in a stupid bus, as they called it. Couldn't read or write properly. And now I write, and, it's my magazine.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So that gives me lots of, positivity and that, and helps people. And I suppose so Jump Up is a charity. So we help people who've gone through domestic abuse, violence, help young children. So that really gives me a lot of meaning. And then lastly is a dating app, like we can talk about that more, I want to change the world, and I want to help people. And it's really weird. When I was a kid, I think I was 6 or 7, I can't remember the exact age. I remember walking down the street holding my nan's hand, and it wasn't far from here actually. And she said, what do you want to do, when you get older? I just said, I want to help people. And I didn't even know what the hell I was going to do. It's taken me a fucking long time to get there, but now I know what I want to do. But I think a lot of youngsters, you just don't know what you want to do, do you?
No, definitely
it's
not.
It's really hard, so yeah.
And then, so from then not knowing what to do, how did it come about that you became a matchmaker?
Yeah, okay, so went for a really shit relationship.
Okay.
Like, I suppose mentally abusive. It was a really difficult time. But again, if I go back to that was because I had very low self-esteem because of the school and that. And I wanted to, when I was in that relationship, I come out, it took me a long time to get out of that relationship, like to build up the confidence. And when I left, I thought, right, I want to make a change. I want people to find like true love and be happy. And so I made it then my mission. I thought, right, I'm going to do something about this. So I started a dating app. And God, this was like way before Bumble, you know, like you used to get the ads, you know, like good sense of humour, non-smoker. There wasn't really dating apps out there much then. So I first started it. And I mean, this is donkeys years ago. And it was like all the others. It was very basic, you know, you just match on like, I like pizza, you like pizza. Okay, you know, let's fuck, you know, like that was it. So there was no meaning to it. So, so I've done it for 2 years and I just felt sick inside because I just thought it's just meaningless. And there was no security. I just felt the security was lacking. And that's kind of like then when I went on a journey, I thought, right, I want to make change. So I went and trained as a life coach, a therapist, a dating coach, studied psychology, image. I studied everything. Not that I wanted to do all of that, but I wanted to understand people's minds and the psychology of how I could help people. So I did that, and then I thought, right, I'm scrapping this dating site. It's shit, and you know, all my money went into that, but at the same time, you know, I wanted to start it. So I started, matchmaking. And first of all, wasn't that great. You know, it took me a while.
And so what exactly is it? So people come to you and then you like just give them like a session and then you find someone for them, or I don't understand how it works, or it's all to do with an app, or
no. So it was like, so once the app closed down, I was like, right, okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to go and meet people. So I'm a people person. I love talking, as you probably go. So I thought, right, I'm going to take this away and start you know, doing one-to-one. So what I would do is, because obviously I studied the coaching and psychology, I could understand the questions I needed to ask, but I needed to really get in deep into these people. So I'd interview them and really get to know them, you know, spend a couple of hours with them or longer, and you get to know them over time. And then understand what, you know, what they were suffering, what their lack were, what issues they had. And then I started matchmaking then, but it did take me a long time to sort of get to the rhythm and like, this didn't work, that worked, you know, there was problems and that, which it totally was, you know, sometimes I did fuck up, you know, I hold my hands up. But over time I started to get better. I was like, right, okay, this works, that doesn't, and this is how it works. But in the end, after, I mean, about 15 years of doing it, I had people flying like from all over the world, America, Europe, coming to see me and like to matchmake them.
That's incredible. And what is the biggest issue? Do you think that is there the majority? How do I word that? Yeah, what's the issue that keeps coming up that everyone keeps coming for?
I think a lot of people just go on. It sounds awful, like surface level, you know, like you go on the looks, you're like, oh yeah, you look, you know, you're handsome and that, but you really need to get to know somebody in depth and compatibility, and that's kind of like why I wanted to strip it away, look at it, and that's why I've spent I think 15 years researching, understanding it, to understand. But I think the biggest problem is our own problems. So we need to have a look at our own issues, you know, what we're lacking, because we're all lacking something, you know. Mine was confidence, because I thought I was thick and stupid. And I suppose as well, boundaries. We've got to like, if we have the right boundaries of values and work on ourselves, that's such a good structure then to go into another relationship. What happens a lot of time is people in like marriages or relationships, and they come straight out and feel lonely, and I totally get it. But then when you come out and you feel really lonely, you're just jumping then into another relationship and you haven't healed those issues what may be coming up. So I always say to somebody, if you have gone through a breakup, it's really important to try and like have a year's break if you can. Work on those things, you know. It might be low self-esteem, but normally you find it's like confidence, low self-esteem, intelligence, looks. It's normally something like that, you know. It could be just like a big, like one person had a big scar and they was like really embarrassed about it, so we worked on that. I had someone who literally had like no teeth at all.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I mean, I've had lots of different issues, or sometimes it's just like feeling stupid or, you know, not confident. So I think if we can work on ourselves, whatever issues we're all feeling, because we all feel something, you know. I felt stupid, I didn't feel pretty, you know, I felt I wasn't giving enough, but actually I was giving too much as well. And that's sometimes we overgive and try and be the rescuer. I was always trying to rescue people, but I needed to stop and rescue myself. So I think I'd just say to people, you know, look at what flaws you feel you have, work on those, and they're easily worked on. There's so much out there. There's podcasts. If you don't feel confident, look at those, or and try and work on yourself to make the best version of yourself.
Absolutely. And what's the craziest story that you have of your matchmaking days?
Oh, shit, I have a lot.
Oh, go on, I want to hear them.
Oh my God. So one of them, I mean, obviously I can't give names and that, one of them, he is, I suppose he's famous. He's an actor.
Yeah.
And I went to his house, and anyway, I was quite excited to meet him.
Yeah.
And then went into his house, really beautiful house. And then he showed me around. He said, "Oh, what do you think of my rooms? And is this great?" And he wasn't. He actually didn't have that much confidence, which was quite, as I say, he was quite shy. And then and it was kind of like the 50 Shades. So he took me down to his bedroom, and I'm like, right, okay, looking round. And then he goes, like, does the bed look all right? Is this right? It was very dark in there.
Yeah.
And there was another room that was kind of extended, and I'm like, okay, I want to get out of here. I did not feel comfortable.
Oh my goodness.
He wasn't doing anything with me, but it was very.
There was a lot going on.
There was something, extra going on, and I'm like, no, this isn't for me. I'm not quite sure. And then
my goodness.
I've had someone else who doesn't who's frightened of broccoli, so he couldn't have anyone who's he goes, I'm scared of broccoli. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So he didn't like broccoli. So he's like, please don't I can't have anyone who's likes broccoli or be near it or anything. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's mental. And then how do you even come to that conversation?
I know. I'm like, right, okay, but what are you? If you've done something with broccoli, what is it with broccoli? It's just green stuff that's you eat. And he was just a little bit.
That's
out there.
Mental.
So there's you just never know what you're gonna get, and I used to meet in restaurants or private members clubs to meet them, and then in the end I'm like, right, let's just go somewhere really quiet because I really need to get to know you more in depth and kind of see what's going on there.
That's okay. What's the biggest myth that you've heard one of your clients say about finding the one?
I think everyone thinks there's just one, and I don't believe that. So there is a one, but at different times in your life.
Yes.
So, and I always feel people come in to teach you life lessons. There might be just one. You might be really lucky and you're with that person for the rest of your life. But a lot of people, it isn't necessarily, you meet different people throughout your life. Like in my 20s, as I said, I had no confidence. And the person I met them kind of made me to be confident because he was a bit of a bully. He was very overpowering and manipulated me, and I had to grow a pair, to be honest. And I didn't, and it took me years to grow that pair. So he taught me that, so although it was an awful relationship, but I'm really grateful because it taught me so much. And I think with people, whatever in that relationship, don't take it as a negative, take it as a positive, learn from it. What have you grown from it, and what can you do to change, and then change. And that's the thing, if you keep going back in them, so you're going to keep going back in that cycle. You need to learn what happened, what I can grow from this, and then move on.
And at what point did you realise that you actually need to leave and this is abusive?
It was really weird. I wanted to go from literally when I first met him. Sounds awful. That doesn't sound good. When I first met him, I was really drunk and I used to drink a lot. Okay. And anyway, not long after, a few months, I fell pregnant and ended up, we had a son. Beautiful. I love my son to bits. He was the best thing in my life. But it was very difficult because I couldn't go then because I felt for my son and I stayed for a long time. But then when I saw the damage I was doing to my son, I thought, I can't do this anymore. And he brought a drawing home from school. And this is what made me think, fuck, what have I done to my son? He said, I want to get a punch bag. And he drew a punch bag. He said, for my dad, to make him happy, give mum a pill to make her happy, and keep my dad drinking so he smiles. And I thought, it was something like that. And I thought, fucking hell, and I felt really bad. So I thought, right, I've got to do something about this. And I that's when I thought, right, I've got to wake up and smell the coffee and get out of this relationship. But it took me a long time to get out of it. When we see people through abusive relationships and that, And they're like, oh, it's taken me 6 years to leave. And it doesn't. Most people, they think, you know, your friends say, oh, yeah, leave, you know, just leave. But it's not. You have to mentally get prepared, and it can take a long time. And normally with domestic violence or abuse, it normally sometimes takes about 6 or 7 times for that person to actually leave.
Wow.
You know, they might leave for a week or two and then they go back. And
what does draw you back? Is it because all of a sudden they suddenly turn and they're like, oh no, I'll give you this and this and everything will be fine again?
Yeah, a lot of the times it is. So yeah, like, oh, I'll be the perfect partner, and they're fucking not. You know, like they change again, and it's still the same. So that's one of it. And then 2, when you get out of it, you're actually scared. Then you're like, fuck, what am I going to do? So for me, when I left, like the final time, because I left everything and I lost my home.
Right, okay.
So I had to walk out on my home, I had to walk out on everything and my son, and it was fucking hard, you know. So we ended up like sofa surfing for a bit, and then I bought a caravan.
Oh, wow.
And but it wasn't a very nice caravan.
Yeah,
It wasn't like, it'd be nice if it was a deluxe caravan. It was 600 quid caravan. It had a hole in it. It stunk. It was black, mouldy. And I thought, what the fuck? And there's a part of you that thinks, oh God, I could go back, you know, and I'll be okay. And I thought, but I mentally, I knew I couldn't go back. But that was really tough. Really tough. And I walked out from a business and I walked out from everything. So
wow.
Yeah, that was tough.
And you took your son with you, and you now have no contact with, you know, the dad?
I don't know, no, not at all. I'd never stopped my son seeing him because I don't think for me that was right. I never wanted to do that. I would say I don't think people should. It depends on the circumstances if someone's violent, but at the same time, you know, I just don't think it's right, you know, like pulling them away from them. In my opinion, I think at least they can make that own decision if they want to, you know, as long as they're safe, or have someone there that they can check. But so it's tough.
And how do you support someone going through a relationship that's violent, and, you know, and help them to leave? Because I feel like I know a lot of people that have been in abusive relationships, and it's a bit like, you know, I never know what to do, you know, or what to say, because you can't fix their problems.
No, you can't fix their problems, but what you can do is give them like a solution. So with the charity, what we do is we kind of give them advice. So main thing is safety. You've got to have like a safety plan, you know, like if you go somewhere, you're going to be safe, and, you know, you've got to like change your phones if you've got to change your school. So it's not just like a little thing. There's a lot to think about, you know, like the finances, where you're going to live. And the thing is as well, you've got children. Children can be really adaptive and they can change quite quickly. But at the same time, you know, if you're pulling them away from your home, the partner, you know, perhaps the nan and granddad, and you're moving all of that and a school, it's a lot for a child. And then also yourself, because you're trying to, like, you know, I know with me, I was trying to fucking pull it together. I'm like, I can't even like put one foot in front of the other, and I'm trying to mentally be strong for my son. So it's incredibly hard. So what we do at charities, we try and like help them, you know, like have a plan. And we've got a big law firm who help us as well, like with that aspect of it, you know, giving them guidance and that, because that's the hardest part, I think, for me. When I went through that and lost everything, it was incredibly hard because no one knew what to do at that time. And I couldn't afford a solicitor. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? And they said, I'll go and see Citizens Advice. I'm not going to diss Citizens Advice, but I went to this church, a Citizens Advice, and they had a chap in there who's a vicar, who's very sweet, very nice man. And he's giving me legal advice, and he doesn't know anything legal. He doesn't know anything. So I came out of there feeling worse. Not he's like, you know, a very nice man, but he didn't have the knowledge and experience. You know, he's very kind, but that's what I wanted to do, have something so we can give them the right advice, or legal advice, or financial advice, to help people that, you know, you've got a plan. Once you've got a plan, you can then make change and move forward.
God, what you're doing sounds incredible. Sounds amazing.
I think, do you know what, you know, and you think that's why I think I went through this journey. Well, that's been, I mean, I've lost my home twice, been through 2 really abusive relationships, one physical, one mental. But I'm glad, it sounds really sad, but I'm really glad it happened to me. Because I wouldn't be who I am today. And I feel that's why I'm here, to help people.
Absolutely.
To try and, you know, see positive. I'm not negative at all. Like, I'm so glad that happened. And actually I feel sorry for them, because they've got an issue. They, you know, I always believe a lot of stems from childhood. You know, your parents might be lovely, I'm not saying that, but but it might be something you learn through school or whatever. And we've all got that insecurity. And I think if you can learn from it and grow from it.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for them. They've got a lot of issues, and I have nothing but wish them well.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah.
But I really wish they'd work on their problems. They didn't. You know. But some people can't. Some people can't, and you just have to let them be. But
how do you rebuild your sense of self afterwards? Because obviously this shit has happened.
Yeah.
What's the steps that you took to become where you are now?
So well, I used to be like the disco queen of, like, you know, the prosecco in one hand, a fag in the other. I was like ab fab, you know, like dance on the dance floor.
Yeah.
But I used alcohol to, I suppose, kind of blur all that out.
Yeah.
And nothing against alcohol, you know, like if they want to drink, up to them. But for me, I used alcohol to give me confidence and blur all of that out. So when I was in my 20s, I'd be drinking because it just made me feel good and confident. So I stopped drinking and kind of like went on a massive healing. I mean, it was great because obviously I'd learned all the therapy, the healing and that. And I started to use it on myself. And I'm like, fuck, you know, I've got all these tools, but I'm doing it for everyone else. And I think this was the problem. I was trying to heal every other bugger, and I wasn't healing me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's when I think I crashed and burned the second time, and like we had the police involved. I had to go to court and all of that lot to get restraining order. It was quite frightening. And then I feel flat on my face, and I just cried, and I thought, right, I've got to stop healing everyone else and heal me, and that's what I did. And as I say, went on this journey. And kind of looked deep at why was I so insecure, and it all stemmed from school, you know, like the bus, and I know it sounds silly, but I blurred it all out, and but actually it was still in that mindset of like, you are thick, you are stupid. I mean, I know I'm not, but I felt silly. So I think if we can, all of us, learn from that, like, you know, look at those deep insecurities and work on it.
And how has your dating life been since all of that? Are you now I mean, I don't know whether you're with someone, but are you now thinking you don't want to be with anyone, or, you know, are you working on yourself, or what's kind of how's it been? Have you dated or not?
Well, as I said, there's penis. I haven't seen one for a long time. No, so I've been single for quite a few years now. I spent like at least 3 years. I just didn't even, you know, I've got male friends, like some really lovely male friends, but I've still got some ex-boyfriends who I still talk to, friends, but I had to sort of like, I didn't want to have an intimate relationship. I didn't want anything. I've sort of become a nun, like, what the fuck, you know. So I sort of separated myself and just wanted to work on myself. And then actually it's funny, I just got back from Mexico, and I went there to sort of like have a bit of chill time and just chilled out. And then I met these two guys. Oh my God, they're a lot younger than me. And they're together, these two guys. And they're the most sweetest, funnest guys. And we ended up like going to this foam party. I felt like I was reliving my youth, like 1999. I was having the best fun ever. And I thought, why would they want someone like hanging around with me? They're like, oh, you going to come out clubbing, Lisa? I'm like, oh yeah, all right. You know, and I had the best time. And then I think from that, when we was there and that, I met a couple of guys, older guys, and you know, started chatting me up, and I was like, oh, you know, still got it a bit, you know?
No,
but it kind of like, I think I needed to heal, and then sort of started to feel good. So I think now I'm ready. I wasn't ready, but I'm ready. But the right person to come along, I think you've got. I had to heal myself and work on myself, and I'm ready. But
did a lot of people in the matchmaking days did a lot of people not trust you because you didn't have a partner yourself?
No, I mean, I didn't really talk about myself, to be honest. And I always thought that, but do you know what? If you're a matchmaker and you've had the perfect relationship, you know what the fuck you've got, you know, like people's relationships or what you've gone through. That sounds awful, but when I met people, I knew what they'd gone through, or the pain they'd gone through, or the problems they'd gone through. So I had a good understanding, and I knew what they needed to then heal. But until you know, in my opinion, until you know that the issues, or you know what, you can sort of see like the dark traits of like what's going on and what's happening, then you know, because someone said that to me, you know, like, well, you know, how can you be an expert if you've gone through all of that? I said, yeah, but it's like childbirth. It's sort of, if you had like a nurse come in and say, oh yeah, it's not that bad, you know, just push. You don't know, and you don't know what it's going to be like until you've had kids, you know, you don't have that understanding until you've had them. it's like a job, you know, until you do that job, you don't know what it's like until you've done it a long time. So that's like with the issues, you know, like going through all of that myself, you know, I've been abused, I've been stalked, I've been cheated on, I've gone through pretty much every bloody thing you could think of, which is awful, but actually it's good because I understand how they feel, what they've gone through, you know, and going through a relationship with an alcoholic or a druggie or whatever. I know what they've gone through, so I can understand. So
and now what boundaries are non-negotiable for you?
Oh my god, right. I sounds awful. I don't mind someone who drinks, but I like excessively, absolutely. I'm not interested. And I want them to have worked their own shit out. I've done my own shit. And if you're coming to me with loads of baggage and problems, I'm not fucking interested. You know,
no,
I want someone who's worked on themselves, who and I think love themselves. If you don't love yourself, I didn't love myself. I really didn't. And I love myself now, not in a big-headed way, like at all, but I love who I am. And I know I'm a good person, I'm a kind person. So, if they don't love themselves, then that's absolutely non-negotiable. I'm not interested.
No, that's a good one. Good one to have. What made you how did you realize that what are your red flags? Like, how do you start realizing that someone isn't right for you?
Well, actually, do you know what? If anyone goes on a date, it's a good bit of advice to everyone. So when you first go on a date, most people want to open up and tell you their problems already because they just want to get it off their chest. Then they've told you. They might not tell you in the whole way you want to hear it, but most people open up then because they've got rid of it off their chest and then they can relax and then they don't need to worry. So my red flags is for anybody, when you first go on that date, don't drink. I know it's really hard. I mean, I used to get blathered, you know, like absolute pisses apart. But don't drink because your all your signals are kind of like alert. You know, you're gonna, and I solely believe this. Your soul tells you if that person's good or bad. You know, like if you met like when in a business meeting, now you're like, I don't like you, or there's something off about you. But when you're on a date, you kind of want to relax, so you drink, and all your senses then are blocked. So don't drink. I know it's really hard, but don't, because you could be with this person like with me. I fell pregnant long after, and I was drinking all the time. I had no clue what he was like, you know. So don't drink. Listen to your senses, and literally the first 30 seconds, your body's going to tell you he's a fucking idiot, all right, you know, or he's great, or she's great. So listen.
But what I've always thought is how like within the first, like, I don't know how many days you're meant to go on until you're like boyfriend and girlfriend, but I wouldn't make someone my partner if I hadn't seen them drunk yet. I always think that I don't necessarily know if I could be with someone that doesn't drink, depending for what reason. Only because I know my lifestyle. But I've always been like, but I need to see you drunk, because
of
someone
course.
can change
Absolutely.
dramatically.
No, I totally agree with that. No, you know, you do want to see someone drunk because people are different, aren't they? I mean, like for me, when I was drunk, I'd never violent, but I was stupid, you know. Like, I'd be the disco queen and doing a moonie and being stupid.
Oh, that's what I love, though. Yeah, that's great.
But I actually, someone in my 20s said to me, "What's a moonie?" I'm like, "What the fuck? I don't know what a moonie is." And like, you don't want me to show you, but
that's so funny.
But as you say, you really get to know someone, what they're like, because people can be violent sometimes. So as I say, first date, don't drink. I know it's really hard, but don't. Maybe take a gummy or something just to chill. But then, you know, after a couple of dates, then have a drink and see what they're like. Because then you do know someone, and they blurt out actually how they feel and what they feel. So you know, you normally say people tell you the truth, and it is actually true. People do tell you the truth and sometimes you don't want to hear that truth, but you know,
no, literally.
It's really important.
What's it like now, because your son's quite a bit older now, but when he was growing up, how did you start the conversation about sex education?
Oh god, I'm probably like the worst mum. I'll be like, right, Brad, I'll talk about it. I think it's really important. I'll be like, right, you must treat a girl like this, and you know, look after her. And actually, I'm really proud of him. He's got a girlfriend and she's so sweet. We're getting really well. And he goes, "What am I going to buy her for Christmas?" I said, "We could get her a sex toy." He's like, "Mum," you know? I said, "But these are really good." You know, so I'm talking about that.
So funny.
But he's really sweet. You know, he looks after them and like talks to them and like takes them out for dinner and that. And I said, that's the way you should treat a girl or a guy. You know, like you treat someone how you want to be treated.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we have a lovely relationship, but I'm very open. I'll talk to him about things, and he does actually talk to me about it. He's like, which is really bad, but like, he talks to me about sex and problems. I'm like, well, if you do this and that, and actually, so all of his friends when they were younger, we used to talk, and I wouldn't be too open with them because obviously it's not their mum and dad, but I would talk about it. It's important to talk about these things. So
yeah, I think it's sad how we have that vision, or like that you say, oh, I'm the worst mum ever, I shouldn't really be talking about that, because I think it's such a shame that we all have that feeling, oh, I don't think I can say it now.
Yeah,
but like it's so important that you should, and yeah, 100%. But now I'm intrigued. What sex toy is your favourite?
Oh no!
Too many.
I walked into this. Yeah. There's a few. I used to work. I said to you earlier, like we used to do Ann Summers back in the day. I mean, this is when it all first came out.
Yeah.
I helped with parties and that, so we'd have like blow up men and pass the dildo, between your legs, like just being stupid. But back then it was so like you shouldn't be doing that, and it was really bad. I mean, nowadays, God, it's like literally it's just the norm, and I think it should be. We should be able to talk about it, and why should we be embarrassed? It's part of everyday life. I mean, I left my dog this morning humping my other dog, so I'm like, right, stop that. I don't want puppies yet, but I think it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you something really embarrassing. I've never told anyone.
Oh, go on.
When so we had sex education at school, but I wasn't in the classes a lot because I was a bit of a rebel.
Okay.
And I was normally in the bottom groups. So I was either smoking fags in the toilet. I hated school. I just hated every minute of it. Or I was on the special bus going to wherever. And I didn't really know what a period was. I did, but I didn't. Anyway, I think I was about 15. I went to toilet and I got my period.
Yeah.
And I thought I cut my bum. And I didn't even know what it was. And I felt such a drip. I said to my mum, I've cut my bum. What have I done? And then obviously my mum didn't talk to me about the birds and bees. And I think it's so important for youngsters to talk about
So
things.
what did your mum tell you? Then your mum had to say,
well, I said to her mum, can you look at my bum? I think, what have I cut? Because I didn't know, obviously doing another moonie. I do like a moonie. Yeah. But and she's like, I think you've got your period. I'm like, right, well, what's that, properly? Because I didn't know, and then she brought out the sanitary pads. I'm like, oh, what the fuck is this? It was horrible. So, that was so sad. Yeah, so we were very much, I suppose they're very conservative. You didn't talk about things like that. I mean, if I knew I was talking about dildos and, penises now, I'd be like, oh my God, you can't talk about it. But why? It's not nothing.
Yeah.
I just think it's fun and, obviously I would never... like porno side of it, that's fine, but that's not me. I don't like that kind of thing, as in like my relationship. But fair play to the girls or guys, whatever.
No, absolutely. And I mean, it's interesting now, like for the fact that you run a magazine, a Mindjump, by the way, if anyone doesn't know, it's incredible. How have you noticed the media has changed with talking about sex and relationships? Because I feel like it probably still is at sometimes. I mean, that a lot of articles or journalists are completely producing that's unethical stuff, I believe, and lies and myths or whatever. How do you feel? Has it changed? Is it still what's kind of your
I think a lot has changed in some aspects. They're open, but I think it's gone too freaking far in some ways. And I think we've got to educate people. And I think as a magazine owner, we have a duty and responsibility to help people and be open and honest. So I'm very open and honest. As I said to you in the first comment, you said, what to talk about? So I'm open and honest. I think we should be, but it's going too far, and people don't know, who you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be. And I just think it's just gone too far. And we're not about that. I like to have an open, honest conversation. We might have experts in who talk about different things. And we do the agony aunt section in the back as well. And people can write in and ask us questions. But I think, we have a responsibility. Yeah. And I think we should be responsible. Like with the magazine, I won't put any gambling ads in there. I will not put any products that are tested on animals. I think you've got to have the right values, and that's who we are. I'm absolutely not, even with like the injections and all of this what's going on, and like the health injections. I find it, I don't know, I don't like it. I just think it's so wrong. We should be helping youngsters and,
and I think
educate them.
It's so scary what the media produce, you know. And I'm one that falls for it all the time with like reality TV shows and TV people. I'm always like the one that comes up all the time on your phone is The Sun, and The Sun are known for being particularly bad, you know, and I get it, and I'm like, oh my god, you'll never guess what, and my partner's like, Tats, you do realise that's definitely not true. And I'm like, you know, and I'm like, yeah, but I love like knowing everything about, you know, and it's just so annoying that you know.
I get it, and it's so sad. When I was doing the therapy, there was a young girl I helped, and she had bulimia.
Okay.
And I said to her, we were just talking. I said, why have you got this? We went in, talked and deep and that. And she said it's the magazines, and when she was reading the papers, I said, well, why? And she said, you know, like for example, it was one of the girls, not Spice Girls, oh God, what is it now? I can't remember the bloody name now. The big band anyway. And she's like, oh, well, look at her, like, it's not Cheryl Tweedy. What's Cheryl Tweedy's band? Yeah, not her, but the girls in it. Girls Aloud, that's it. Yeah, I was trying to think. Yeah. So she said, look at them, and I'll never look like that. And I said, yeah, but right. And I knew Sarah Harding.
Yeah.
So I showed her a picture of Sarah like in real life. And Sarah is very attractive. But I said, look, this is her natural. This is her what she looks in a magazine. And I showed her the airbrush, and I said, this is natural. And I said, right, I'm going to do something for you. I'm going to take a photo of you now, like you're natural.
Yeah.
And she's a very attractive girl. And I said, right, I'm going to get this airbrush. And obviously airbrushing back then wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And I showed her, and she went, oh, fuck. And I said, this is not real. And I think we have a responsibility. And that's with the magazine. I've changed it all now. I'm not putting any, I just want real people, real women, real men who look normal, you know. I don't want, you shouldn't be stick thin and, you know, made to look beautiful, but when it's not real, I know, like, obviously you've got to sell stuff and like make it look nice, but that like that front cover there, it's just a natural shoot, and she's ethical and she's got good values, and that's who we are. And I think we have a responsibility to show that this is not fucking real. Instagram's not fucking real. Really. I mean, I like a bit of an airbrush, don't get me wrong, but as you say, but really, we've got you know, we've all got lumps and bumps and bits. So,
And so I want to talk about your book, which you have beside you. So how did it come about? What's it all about?
So it's called How the Fuck Did I Lose My Tiara, which I really lost it. So it tells my life story of like from being at school and being bullied, going on a special bus, to going into really dark, bad relationships, you know, like one, as I said to you, one who was mentally abusive, and then left that, and then went into another one not long after, which was physical. I mean, that was incredibly scary, you know, physically hurting me, and going through courts, etc. And I talk about those stories, but I tell the life story, but I also then tell it like, you know, why that happened and what I was learning, because I wanted someone to read it, you know, like fuck, this happened. So I think on the first page I put, I can't remember the times, it's like 7:34, you know, and just got a message coming around to kill me, and they're like, what the fuck, you know, this is on the first page. And it is scary. At the time my life was really fucking scary, and so it just tells the story of like what happened in my life and what went on, but also then it tells me like why it happened, and like I should have learned and I didn't learn my lesson. And and I always believe if you're in a relationship and the same patterns happen, you're not fucking learning the lesson. I didn't learn the lesson, and so I wanted other people to then realise like, fuck, I'm in that loop, you know, and I've got to stop. And that's why I wrote the book, because I wanted people to like read it and really understand it, and then talk about, you know, how you can get through it and how you can change your life. And
that's incredible. And do you think it's helped you, like, do you write a lot of things down to try and get you into a different, you know how they say, keep a diary if you're feeling depressed? You know, is that kind of, I bet the book was kind of like letting it all out and you're not keeping it in anymore.
It was great, actually. And I think for some people like, you know, talking it out, and that's cool. Some people like writing it, but actually there is, and I never liked reading or writing. I fucking hated reading and writing. It's just really weird. But when I went on the journey, like I just say, healing, writing it out is probably one of the best things. Is it actually, it's like a therapy session with yourself. I think it's really important if you just write it. You don't have to write, you know, word for word and every bit. But actually, I cried quite a lot writing that book, and it was probably one of the best things I ever did because it just got it off my chest and writing about it. And everyone's like, it should be made into a film. And I said, it's literally like The Maid, The Pursuit of Happiness. Because obviously, when we was homeless and I lost everything, there's so much gone through that book. Then Marley and Me, oh God, that's a dog story. Like, there's so much in that book, but it just tells my life story. And yeah, it's incredibly difficult, but it was such great writing it. And I'd say to anyone, write a book, or even if you don't publish it, just write it. It makes you feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are you kind of hoping for with the magazine, with the book, with obviously the future of your dating app? What are you kind of, hoping to achieve with it all?
So I think, you know, and I said when I was 6, I said I wanted to help people. And I didn't know what the hell that was at 6 years old. And this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to change the media landscape because I freaking hate it. You know, it's very, not all of them, but like it's very negative and it's not uplifting. I don't even watch half the telly now because I just find it so depressing. So I wanted to tell lovely, positive stories. That was the main thing for the magazine, and give people a voice, you know, who've gone through a tough time, that someone else will read it and like, oh, fuck, I've been through that. I can change. And then with the charity, again, like the same, just wanted to help people. But the dating app, this is where I felt really passionate about. I've always wanted to see people happy. And I think through my experiences and through that, you know, say 15, 20 years of like matchmaking, I thought, right, I spent years, you know, this didn't work, that works, this doesn't. And I felt it made me sick, you know, even today. I find it so sickening that they don't give a shit who you match. They just want people on there so they're making enough money, and they don't want you to match really because they want you to
use the app.
They want you to use the app. So I've spent all these years, like nearly 20 years, working on the algorithm to get it right. So when people go on our app, you won't have hundreds of matches. You might only have 2, you might have 5, but again, I can't be God. I wish I could. In that aspect, like find you literally looks wise, you know, your perfect match. But I can find you'll be 100% compatible. So you, as I said, you might only have 3 matches. So that's what our dating app is about: is bringing that perfect match. But you might not fancy each other. Hopefully you do. But I always think it's not about that. It's about what's inside and the soul, and like. You know, someone might, for example, there was one famous lady I worked with, and her partner, she loved everything about him, and he was really humble, he's really fun, he's really intelligent, he's a businessman, he's very kind, he's very loving, he's worked on himself, he's got everything, he could tick the box, but he's got a really big nose, and she said, I can't get past it. But she said, after I went on 3 or 4 dates, she said, actually, he's the most nicest, kindest man, and I love him. And now they're
still together now.
Still together, and
that's
I think
incredible.
that's so you've got to see past them a little bit. You know, we've all got, you know, I've got a big ass sometimes, you know, and like it's like so we've all got bits we don't like, but do you know what? Like it doesn't matter about that. It's what's inside, and if you're a good, kind person.
How many dates do you think you have to go on to actually get to know? Obviously, there's so much you're going to learn throughout the relationship, but is there a certain amount of dates that means that you've really given it a go, and if you still can't see past things,
the first one.
Oh,
the
really?
First date, you know. But that's what I said, don't drink. Like, I know it's really hard, don't drink. Your body tells you, like, he's good, you know.
Right, okay.
Listen to that, and then you know. And I think the first date, but someone asked me this as well, you know, like, when's a good time to have sex? Like,
That's
and this is
question.
so important, right? Don't give them breakfast, don't give them lunch, don't give them dinner. You know, this is sacred, you know, your lady garden. Like, it really is.
Okay.
So, you know, you've got to value that. So I know it's hard sometimes, you know, especially when you're younger as well. You know, you're frustrated, guys. I know you're probably listening, you know, like, right, you bitch, Lisa, shut up. I'm not going to get a bit. But it's really important, because what women don't understand as well, younger ladies, is the guy is also thinking, like, in his mind, and psychology part of it as well, is he's actually thinking, okay, could I take her home to my mum? Is she marriage material? You know, if we're dating and she's going out shagging all the time, or she shagged me on the first, second date, she could be doing that on there. So you've got to think, like, you know, if he knows, it sounds awful, like they say, put out, you know, but if you value yourself and respect yourself, and think, no, I'm worth valuing, you know, I'm worth like some nice meals and like treat me well, then I think at least 6 dates, you know, even longer, a couple of months. I mean, I made one guy wait a couple of months, and you know what?
It's worth the wait.
He wanted me more. Like, So, girls, guys just don't, value you and respect your body. And, like, you know, they don't earn that until, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
all these guys are going to kill me now. They're like, Lisa, you bitch, you know. But, you know, but think of it like that, you know, respect yourself and your body.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's so good. A perfect segue into audience questions.
Oh, no.
Let's see what we've got. Okay. I'm assuming, are you still in touch with anyone you've match made? Do you know if any are still together?
Yeah, I'm still in touch with some of them. There's a couple actually who got married, and I was their bridesmaid.
Oh,
so yeah,
that's incredible.
That was lovely. So
how do you find these people? Is it like one person comes to you, but then does it mean the other person has to be with you as well as a client?
No, so I mean, I don't do it anymore. So that's why I'm doing the app, because I just thought I just needed hundreds of me, and I just couldn't. And it's like everyone goes, "Oh, I want to be a matchmaker." I said, "You don't. It's so fucking hard. It really is. You know, it's like finding a needle in a haystack." So it was really tough. But what I would do then is like I might have loads of people on my books, but they're not suitable. So it would take me some time. I mean, it's taken me sometimes a year or two to find that right person.
Wow.
So when people used to come to me, they're like, "Well, I want this, I want that," you know, and has to be this or has to be that. One lady came to me with fucking 3 sheets of paper. "I want this, I want that."
Yeah.
I went, "You can fuck right off," you know, like you
that would be me,
you are not my person. No, because but it was all right. But it was like, I want this. But it was, I'm like, well, what are you fucking giving? You know, like I can't see anything. I want to see past that. And we're like, are you a good person? Are you kind? Are you intelligent? So back to that, is that, I still keep in touch, and I love. I think that's what, I've always loved it. And even when people go on dates, I get more excited probably than them. I'm like, I bite on my nails, I'm nervous because I just want them to be happy.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's great. What was the biggest hurdle you came across whilst working on yourself?
I think that it's embarrassment, actually, because I was embarrassed that I left this for such a long time. So mine was feeling stupid, and I went to see a therapist, and as I said, I'd done all the training myself, but sometimes when you're in it yourself, you can't see it. And I think so many people like diss a therapist, you know, like, "Oh, I don't need a therapist." But do you know what? Right, it's great, and you feel fucking brilliant when you come out. And I went to see her. And this is where I feel really stupid, but I'm not stupid. When I went in there, she said, "Why are you here?" I said, "Because I'm stupid." And she went, "How did you get here?" I said, "I drove." So she said, "Do you think someone who's stupid could drive?" I went, "No."
Wow, but that's incredible. Wow.
It sounds so like, it does sound stupid, but you know, little things like that, and going to see a therapist, just that one little thing, switching on, like, "Oh my God, I'm not stupid." And and that's why I would never have done the magazine then, because I thought, I can't do that, you know, I can't spell, you know. But it isn't about that. As you say, you've just got to squash the problem, work on it, and then I always believe your biggest hurdle, your biggest problem is your biggest success. So work on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Did your matchmaking ever get complicated for you personally, like clicking with someone you were meant to set up with someone else?
Probably ask these questions. It was really hard because you've got to be professional, and I'd spent years like building my brand and building my name. As I said, you know, I've worked with like very high profile people and people flying in from all over the world. And there was this one chap. He didn't come to me as a client, but I kind of pursued him for this particular client.
Right.
And I met him and I thought, "Oh, fuck, he's really nice and he's really handsome." And I was like, "Oh my God, I really fancy you." But obviously, you know, there's a line you can't cross. And I thought, if I cross this, I'm going to be like bad.
Yeah.
And anyway, and I thought, "Oh God, but I really like you." So anyway, I said to him, because he knew I was there for this particular, I didn't actually tell him who I was there for, but I said, "I've got a potential client." And anyway, we carried on and had like a couple of drinks now, and I thought, oh my God, I really want to stalk you. But I was like, no, I can't do this. I've got to be professional. But it was so fucking hard.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm glad I didn't in the end, because it kind of like, he.
And you don't know whether he's with anyone now or any.
I don't know, but you'd only got to know him actually. It wasn't quite.
Wasn't all there.
When you see things on, like, say, Instagram, you see that someone's profile, you're like, oh my God, you're this, you're that, you're great. But when you open up and like, it's a bit like an onion, you kind of peel back the layers. And especially when I was doing the dating and interviewing people, I'd spend hours with them and talking to them and that. And you've got to make someone feel really comfortable to open up. People seem to open up and tell me literally their life story, which is great.
Yeah.
But then I could sort of get in and see the problems. I'm like, oh, fuck, you've got a lot of issues and you've still got to work on them. So I'm glad I didn't. So
absolutely.
That was a bit of an eye-opener.
During those two tougher relationships, did the emotional strain affect your sex life or libido?
Absolutely, yeah. So the first husband and that, in the end, I just didn't even want to sleep with him. And I can't tell you how many fucking headaches I had. But no, I just didn't. Yeah, it really did. You don't want to be with someone. And so I would just literally sort of go to bed, or I'd have a headache. But he was, like, oh, well, when are we gonna? I'm not fucking interested at all. So I really did. And even in my 20s, I had low libido because I just wasn't in the right relationship. But if I'm with someone and really like them, then you want to be with them and make them happy. As I said, I've still got some ex-boyfriends now who I'm friends with, and like we had a great time, but it just didn't kind of like go where we wanted it to go. But I think when you're with someone and you're just there. Obviously, I have my son. I'm just there because I had to be there. It's fucking horrible. So I had really low libidos probably once a year. So it was really bad.
Oh my God. And if you could morph your perfect man, is there such thing as a perfect man for you? What are the ingredients?
So I don't think there's a perfect man for everybody, I'd say. It might not be perfect for somebody else, but I suppose kind, caring. If I want someone who's intelligent and I can have really good, deep conversations with. Yeah. And I kind of want someone who's been through, not maybe the abuse and that, but like who's gone through a difficult time, who understands, what it's like. Yeah. So someone, for example, like me, I've spent years building up my business and growing it, and I'm really proud of what I've achieved and, what we're doing with the magazine and the charity and the app. But I suppose I want someone else who's been through that and who's had to build something from scratch and not been given it, because I want them to have worked and grafted and know and understand. So I suppose it's more really someone who understands me and but loves kids and dogs.
The best.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Do you have a celebrity crush?
Oh my God, have you watched? I can't remember his name. It's a TV show on Netflix called Younger.
Okay, that's just come out.
Yeah, it's just
Netflix,
come
right?
out. Yeah, and oh my God, the guy who's on it, I can't remember his bloody name. He is so fit. Yeah, he's really nice looking. I don't know his name. Everyone's going to have a look in a minute to see what he's like.
Up the name.
So, Tom Brady, I mean, he's really fit, and he's a very much a family man, and he likes his children. He likes to spend time with his family. So, I'm pretty much, I love my work and I like socialising it, going out for dinners and things like that. But I'm also very much a country gal who likes going for walks with the dogs and, so someone who's like that. And I think sort of Tom Brady would be, he's very fit, but he's probably too much in a very much high profile. But they're trying to work out who it is now.
Is it Nico or Peter?
Charles is his name in the show. Peter Herman. He is really fit. Yeah.
Okay.
You'll all be Googling that. Yeah, look at him.
No,
everyone's looking now. But for me, I mean, obviously he's
so
older,
funny.
but he's really nice looking. Yeah.
And to finish off, any advice that you have for anyone that's thinking about having sex, doesn't know what to do, whether it's right. Anyone, what advice would you give?
So my advice would be, when I said to you when I first started having sex, because I felt pressured into it, don't do that. Don't follow what I did, because it'd just be the worst sex. As I said, I was literally like a bag of potatoes. So he was probably shagging me, and it just wasn't very nice. So feel comfortable, and I think don't do it on the first few dates. Like at least a couple of months, or have like 6 dates where you feel really comfortable. Yeah. Best thing, because then you really like connect and you're both desperate to do it and it's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would personally do that. maybe not for everyone, but I think then it makes it more exciting. And enjoy it, but have your boundaries. Don't feel pressured. And if you make you feel pressured, they're not the one, or they're not like the one for you at that time. So tell them to fuck off. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've got you a little gift for coming on the show.
Oh, have you? Oh my goodness. Should I be scared?
No,
Is it gonna make a
don't
noise?
worry. I've been kind to you. So I've got you because I know you like writing.
Yes.
And I've got you a notepad with the logo on there.
Oh, that's really sweet.
So thank you so much.
Well,
for
I
coming
love
on the
writing,
show.
so thank you. Oh, that's
You're
really
welcome.
sweet. Thank you.
Well, I honestly, thank you so much for coming on. You are incredible, and what
Thank
you've
you.
managed to achieve. Can you tell everyone the links to the charity?
Yeah, thank you.
Tell me all where we can find you.
Yep, so Jump Up is jumpup.uk, mindjumpmonthly.com, and the dating app...
I'll leave links later.
Yeah, leave links later. Or if
out.
you just go onto Mindjump Monthly, because you can sign up and read the magazine for free, and it's in print. But if you go on there as well and sign up, because then we're going to be sending out the links for the dating app, so
Absolutely.
people can come on it and try and experience it first and see what happens. But we're launching it out in the States early next year in New York. So yeah, it's exciting. So
incredible. Well, best of luck with all your endeavours, and also good luck if you start dating. If you realise now is the time.
I know. Everyone's like, it's more pressure actually, because I've been single for quite a while, like because I wanted to be. And I'm like, oh my God, it's been quite a long time as well, oh my God, does it still work? Am I able to do it?
You'll have to come on for part 2. We'll discuss all.
Yeah, we'll discuss all. I'm like, oh my God, but I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Well, thank you so much. This is Lisa, everybody.
Thank you. And first time ever in bed with a girl, and it's been fun. So you're my first. But it's been great fun. I really enjoyed it. So thank you
so much. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
If you would like to be a part of the show, please check out our website at www.dirtytalkofficial.com. We welcome all sexualities regardless of your sexual experience. If you would like to be an audience member only, please get in touch the same way. Like and subscribe on all social media platforms.